The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
So where are you? You back at St. Pete then?
Yeah, I'm home right now. And then, we just did all that ground touring.
Yeah.
And we did the cruise, and that just destroyed my voice from all the talking. And, every day I wake up and I sound like Barry White.
Oh, on the cruise, you mean?
Even home. Since I've been home, my voice,
really?
has been, dude, it's been really scratchy and raspy ever since I got home. But anyway, we have fly dates. And then I'm going to LA on the 22nd for that Armored Saint documentary.
Oh, nice.
And so they were kind enough to have me and Eddie be a part of that with some interview segments and whatnot. So
you gonna go film it out there?
It's the premiere. It's all done. And so just gonna go out there and hang for a few days and then come home. So no big ground tours until next year.
Which is good because I imagine they take a toll, right? I mean, besides your voice, just physically, they got to take a lot out of you.
6 weeks is a long time around 10 dudes on a bus all the time. And
right.
I don't sleep well on a bus anymore. And the bumps and just it's just very tiring.
Not very glamorous.
No, I mean, people see the tour bus and they think, oh, wow, this is, hey, it's the way to go versus, doing a van thing.
Right.
But it's a lot of fun, but it gets tiring. So I'm going to start writing my next solo record this year. I've already started working on ideas and playing guitar every day and just kind of coming up with riffs and putting pieces, just that kind of thing. So since we have a lot of downtime, we have a show on the 3rd, so I'll leave the 2nd, come home the 4th, and then I'm home for like 2 weeks. Then we have another 1 or 2 shows, and then I'm home for a couple of weeks. So that's kind of going to be the year, which is good.
Yeah. So when you're writing, then how do you decide what you're writing for? Like it's going to be for the Todd Torre project or Queensryche?
So I only write for my stuff.
Okay.
When it comes to music, if I hear something, I'm like, oh, I really like that. If I had just put my record out, I would probably show it to the guys.
Right.
But and I don't write songs for Queensryche. I tried that before, but because there's so many different ideas and opinions and backgrounds, my song might get just completely chopped up into they like this piece and this piece, and I'm like, yeah, but I needed this piece to
right.
to that piece, so
right.
I don't want to give it to you now.
Right, I'm taking it back.
So I just kind of, when we're working together as a band and they're playing something, if I hear something, I'll say, hey, what about this idea? But creating my own stuff and then trying to show the band, I really don't do that anymore. Yeah. So
what was the cruise like? I know you've done it before, but how was it this year?
For me, I guess because I have to sing, it's really, I don't favor them as from a singer's aspect.
Right. Too many people.
Because it's a 5-day meet and greet, and it's and I want to be nice to people, and people are really nice to me, and
right.
you want to engage and be a nice guy and be human, but it just takes such a toll on you. And so that for me is really hard. Otherwise, you just want to stay in your room as much as you can, but you don't want to sit in your room for 5 days straight.
Right.
So, but it's fun in the sense that you get to connect with friends that maybe you haven't seen in a while.
Right, for a length of time.
for a length of time instead of you're at a sorry, and
No,
you're
you're
at
good.
a show or something, and you only have
Fast.
10, 15 minutes
Right.
because they're getting ready. And with this, you say, hey, you want to go grab a dinner? Cool. I'll meet you here for dinner at 7 o'clock. Great. And then you really get to catch up
Sure.
and do that. And so that's a lot of fun. And I always I have a friend of mine named Eric who goes with me on these cruises. And so I opened my room up to him and we shared a room,
Mhm.
and it was perfect. He's a good friend of mine, and so it gives us some hang time because he lives in Seattle,
Right.
so we don't get to hang out that much. So this is a nice opportunity for us
Right.
to just be buddies and kind of have a little vacation together or
That
something.
makes sense. So how
Yeah.
in the world the internet is a buzz once again with you? We've talked about this before. You're like the black.
What I do now?
I'm just curious. How did you get involved in the comedy stuff?
Oh,
That's everywhere again.
so I'm good buddies with Don Jameson
Right.
and Jim. Well, Don, over the years, Don would say something funny to me, and I'd hit him back with another thing, and we kind of riff in real
Right.
time with each other. And I think he saw a comedic sense about me. And one day he was like, "Hey, we have this thing that we do where we have professional comics do their stand up, and then we'll have like a guest musician that's never done it. Yada yada. Would you want to do it?" Then I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, it really makes me nervous just thinking about it.
Yes.
And he was like, dude, I think you'd be really good at it, this and that and the other. And I said, well, let me think about it. Well, I'll come up with things that I think are funny, and I put them in a draft email. And they were doing this thing in the Keys. And so I started kind of crafting some jokes and some stuff. And then I was like, look, I got so much going on, dude. I can't do it in the Keys.
Right.
He's like, well, we do it on the cruise. And I was like, okay, well, that's a couple months out. That would give me a little more time to prepare and feel better with the material. And I
Right.
said, but I'm not going to commit to it yet. I still don't know. I'm really nervous about it. And so he ended up connecting. We, dude, I really think you should do it, and blah, blah, blah. And then Courtney, who is part of this punchlines and backlines, and she's a professional writer. She's a professional comic writer. She's worked with Roseanne Barr. She's
Oh, okay. Right.
done like stuff with, the Gene Simmons roast. And she was, I think, working with among guys like Bill Burr and all these people for that's been her career.
Right.
She's really funny, and she's a super sweetheart of a person. And so we ended up jumping on a Zoom for about an hour and 45 minutes. And I said, don't judge me, but I got a bunch of stuff I wrote, and you can sift through and tell me what you think is good, what's not. And then we can build on it if that's cool. And so I tailored everything around the cruise and
Right.
80s
I saw
music,
some clips. Yeah.
and a lot of self-deprecating jokes. And so I ended up doing it, and it was a lot of fun. I was terrified. I'd say that there was probably, I don't know, a few hundred people in the club. And
Mhm.
when you have your band, that's like your blanket, right?
Right.
You have all your buddies around you, and it's the music. And I could sing in front of 100,000 people, and I'm not freaking out.
Right.
When it's you and it's dead quiet,
And if
it's
you're not funny, that's a long, however, 10 minutes,
oh man,
even 5 minutes. I'll tell you a funny story. That's always been on my bucket list. And there's a lady I know here who runs
Yeah.
like the local open mic nights at the comedy club. And I had told her once, and she's always sending me emails saying, you could do 5 minutes tonight, we'll get you in. But 5 minutes is a long fucking time if it's dead quiet.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, I obviously had a total different advantage because I'm on the cruise where people already know who you are.
Right.
They probably want to laugh for you, right? And everything was tailored to stuff that I know everybody in that room is gonna
Right.
laugh at. Okay,
It was almost a guarantee.
kind of. I mean, it's not that's guaranteed, but
Right.
I think that they want you to do good.
Right.
When you're in a real comedy club with
They don't
real
want you to do
strangers
it.
that don't know
Right.
who you are, it's make me laugh, and you've got all these different demographics and what part of the country you went. Maybe this
Right.
joke doesn't fly here. Maybe so that's the real litmus test. This was really fun to breathe,
Do
do my
something different.
thing,
Right.
which my bit was almost 10 minutes.
Which
Um,
is a long time by yourself on the stage.
right. But once they laughed at that first joke, see, I had the bit about the I don't know who I'm gonna see, the Queensryche. I had that whole thing.
Right.
You saw, I don't know if you saw
I saw
that.
that. Yeah, I don't know who the singer of the band is. Right.
Right. So then I go, I remember now. I remember how it started. So
Right.
I did that whole bit, and I had it initially. I had that up top, and then Dawn and Courtney had me introduce myself, and then I say, and some old Queensryche fans call me not Jeff Tate.
Right.
So
Right.
that got the laugh, right? So I said to Dawn, well, but the Queensryche thing is already kind of blown with that reference. And then I go back in and I say, it started with a Q. And I said, why wouldn't we flip it? And I learned a really valuable lesson by asking that question. He says, because you need your first laugh quick. And you're telling a longer story and they're sitting there. By the time you get to that, you already, so Courtney went before me and did a great thing, and then she hypes you up. Well, these people are already in the rhythm and the habit
Ready
of
to go.
laughing,
Yeah.
right? She's got them laughing constantly. So when I get up there, they're in that laughing mood. So she really helped me with that, and of course, helping with the material. A lot of that stuff was mine, and then they wrote jokes to put, like, that was their joke, that intro line.
Right.
But we just talked about so many ideas. And then Jim Florentine said to me after, he's like, dude, you crushed it. How he talks.
Right in that voice. Right.
Yeah. And he's like, that was so great. And I don't know how I'm going to follow that. I was like, yeah, right. And so he said to me after, he's like, look, when I come down to Tampa or that area, if you want to open for me, like if you want to do it again, I'll put you on the bill and you can be an opener.
Right.
And I was like, wow, really? Like, okay, he must have thought it was
Yeah.
okay. And so I said, if I have the material and I feel great about it, I'll do it. But coming up with my own, or coming up with material that is really going to be funny is hard because
It
we
is.
can think something, so then it's a matter of creating that workflow, because that was, we knew that I got all these ideas and that something needs to be streamlined and arranged here. And then, they were telling me about having a callback where you bring something back that you said earlier,
Right.
make that part of something, and how to make a flow. And then, of course, there's your delivery, right? Like
Right.
a mediocre joke with a great delivery can go
It's
over.
great. Yeah.
A great joke with a bad delivery is just going to bomb. So, I didn't know how I was going to deliver. I didn't really rehearse. I just kind of did it the way I thought.
Right.
And everybody really seemed to like it. On the ship, people were like, dude, that was so funny, and blah, blah, blah. And they were really encouraging. And it's kind of like facing a fear of yours, right?
Right.
And
That's kind of what I was saying. It's on my list and I'm planning on doing it. And I
gotta do it.
I get really close and I get the stuff all written, but maybe I'm in the same boat as you probably, right? Because I don't have the comedic background, so I don't know how to structure it so correctly. And I've read some books and I've taken some courses, and I probably could
Wow.
do it.
So you've always really been into that.
Yeah, it's been like the last 20 years. I'm like, I really want to do this. And I don't know if I want to do it for a living. I maybe just want to do it once. Or I just want to do it.
But look, if you do it and they laugh,
right,
you're going to want to do it again.
But I'm in my own head, right? Because I'm thinking if I do it, that's 5-10 minutes of an eternity if there's not a laugh.
And you know what? Even great seasoned comics can go into a room and just the room fucking sucks.
Right. So on the boat, you kind of tailored it toward, the music and the thing and, your background. But you walk into a club, it's like you said, way different, right? I don't know any of these people, except maybe I'll bring a bunch of people to fill it in and, stop the hecklers or something. But I guess that's part of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, but there's ideas that I think of that are like that didn't relate to that. Like, there's a joke where I say,
Ever wonder what a punch from Elton John feels like?
Or how you'd cope with having turned down the chance to be in Nirvana?
Or what signal Keith Richards gives when he wants you to get the hell out of his hotel room?
Fans of Too Much Effing Perspective don't have to wonder, because they've heard these exact stories and a jillion others on our podcast. I'm Alex Hoffman, former tour manager for Radiohead.
And I'm musician and comedy writer Alan Keller. On the TMEP show, we get guests like Nancy Wilson from Heart, Jeremiah Freitz from the Lumineers, and Modern Family's Julie Bowen to tell us things they may have only shared with their therapist, clergy, or a TMZ stringer.
So join us on Too Much Effing Perspective. That's EFFING Perspective. The only podcast you crank up to 11.
I always find it considerate when women run the faucet when they have to take a doo-doo. And I said, that's okay. Guys do it too. And I talk about if people want to hook up on the ship and who has home field advantage, because if you're in your room, the running the faucet's not going to save you. If you're the visitor, you could go back to your room and do what you got to do.
Right. So just everyday stuff like that. That's kind of cool.
Everyday stuff like that, and that, and then like some of the jokes, where I talked about, people ask how I hit such high notes. And I said, in order to sing 4 octaves or more, you run a 75% chance of having an anal prolapse. I said that's a hemorrhoid, people. I said, to sing in Queensryche, it requires a lot of preparation. Preparation H.
Right.
And then I said, if you're not careful, you'll end up making the sidewalk. Or I said, I know some singers that have shat themselves on stage. So you got to be careful. Otherwise, you'll end up making a stage look like a sidewalk in San Francisco.
Nice.
And then there was a stool, because, there's always a stool on the stage. Right. And I said, this is the only stool you're going to find on this stage tonight. Just stuff like that.
Nice.
So it wasn't all about Queensryche. And
right.
I'm a musician. I'm a singer. I talk about the bathroom or the cabins being small and the suction, the suction power of the toilets on the boat. And so, but yeah, you try to think of things that people are going to get, and I've always loved, like you, since I was a kid, I've always loved comedy and stand-up comedy. And, and I wanted to do that when I was a child. I thought one day I want to be a stand-up comic, but of course I didn't do that. And I just have such an admiration for those that can do it. But it's really hard to think of an idea when I hear a stand-up comic do something that I think is great. And I'm like, why didn't I think of that? That's so right in front of your face. But then you think, oh, everybody's done a million jokes about this topic, right? Like, how do you introduce something fresh or new? And, I watched this thing on Bill Burr not long ago, and he tells a funny joke about using the word motherfucker, and how black people will say a joke with motherfucker behind it. And white people will do it after, and it changes completely. It's like the black guy, he says something like, yeah, this motherfucking Asian, blah, 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 blah. And then he says the white guy, he's like, this Asian motherfucker,
Right.
And it's like, he just changed where it was, and it totally
changes the sentence.
Changes it like in a bad way. And but it's like, I would have never thought of that, but it's so true. And if you think about it.
Yep.
So I've always loved that. But yeah, if you've got stuff that you believe in and you got it baked in there and you think you got a good delivery, you know what? Sign up for the open thing and just do it. Because you're not the only guy that's doing it. Other people are doing it too.
Probably everybody on the open mic night is doing it. We're all in the same boat, right? I just don't want to shit myself on stage.
You don't want to do that.
So I'm going to tell you a quick story, and then we'll go back to Queensryche, and I'll let you go.
Sure.
But I was doing I had Steve Austin from Today's the Day at the house one day doing some cooking stuff, and we were talking about like the weirdest thing that ever happened to him on stage, and he was telling me a story. He was in, I don't know, one of the big European festivals with Today is the Day, hot sunny day, wearing jeans, walks out to touch the mic and got zapped. It wasn't grounded right, and he shit himself in front of like 300,000 people. Like he said, he immediately voided his bowels, just. But
like,
didn't.
Is this true?
Oh yeah. Total true story. And he didn't know what to do because the show was going, and you only have this amount of time, and there was that many people. So he played the set.
Wow.
Yep. I always used to ask, like, what's the craziest thing that happened on stage, and that was the one of them. I've got a couple of them. Like, the band from, I think they're from Belgium, called Saltatio Mortis. They're sort of a accordions and violins and odd indigenous instruments. It's sort of metal stuff. I've seen them on 70,000 Tons of Metal. But
what are they called?
Saltatio Mortis, I believe.
I think it's Sonatica something.
Oh no, that's not Artica. That's a different one.
Okay.
So anyway, these guys are playing whacking. He's a drummer. He sits on the drum platform wearing shorts, and the hornet went up his shorts and stung him in the nuts. And it was the same sort of thing. He's like, we were right into the first song. I couldn't do anything, and his nuts swelled up like this big, but he kept playing.
There's a bunch of jokes in there. They should have done a Wasp cover.
Yes. So sorry, I know we didn't come in to talk about.
No, I love that stuff.
But I used to ask those questions all the time, and I had so many great ones. But those are the two that totally stand out in my head.
Wow, that's nuts.
Yep, that's what he said. As soon as he touched the mic, it was a zap, and it voided his colon. And then he was like, "I didn't know what to do. I was just standing there, and luckily he had black pants on and played the gig."
Holy cow! Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyway, so what do you guys got going on then? So you got a couple fly out gigs, working on new material yet, or is it too early?
I'm working on my solo stuff. Michael's working on some side stuff he's got that he's been working on for a long time. Fly dates for the rest of the year. So
that's nice.
It's not going to be a busy year, rest of the year for us, which, is good. I think we all just need to be home and do our thing. And then next year is going to be really busy. So yeah, it's just, I talked to Michael this morning. He's doing stuff around his house. I'm, doing my thing here. And
so no summer festivals over in Europe?
No, I think we were going to do some stuff, and there were just a variety of reasons why we couldn't. So,
touring gets expensive too, right?
It's crazy expensive over there, but there were some family celebratory things that are going on that, certain band members just didn't want to not be a part of this time. Every year you're gone for a birthday or a kid's graduation or whatever's going on. And so yeah, we're not going to be doing that, but next year we'll be over there. And then have a whole new ground tour planned that we're going to be doing early next year. Got some cruise stuff we're doing early in the year. And that's pretty much it. And then, then I think all the guys will start getting together and really start writing songs again and doing that. But you spend a year or whatever it is working on stuff and then recording the demos, and then by the time you're done and then you go out and tour, to be like, hey, let's start on the
Do it
next one
again,
right now.
right.
You're just like, I'm fucking fried. So,
Right.
but we had a great, since the record came out, we did 2 tours with Judas Priest. I think it was 3.5 months total out with them. We did our own headline run. We had Marty Friedman and Trauma out with us. That was great. And now it's just going to be, Weekend Warrior stuff, which is cool. So yeah, I can't really complain, man.
That's good.
Yeah. Where are you located again?
I'm in Richmond.
Oh, okay.
We're just outside of Richmond in Mechanicsville. Remember, you parked your car here one day to go do something.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
Like 20 years ago or something.
Jeez. Right on.
Yeah, I've been in this house 22 years, so it was 21 years.
Yeah, good. What's going on with you?
Same stuff.
Yeah.
Kids are out doing their thing, still working, still playing around on the side. We got the show picked up on a network now, so starting
Great.
I think June 1st, we're on like an actual podcast network with marketing and advertising.
Beautiful.
And people from CNN have podcasts on there as well. So it's a decent one, not a fly by night. So maybe it'll do something a little bit better. But
Good
me,
for
I just
you.
play around and have fun. I do this.
Dude.
I do this for the love of it. It's just fun.
Yeah. You do you ever work with comics?
I never have. Well, I've had Don on here a couple times.
Yeah.
He actually did a cooking thing for me too. He made some sort of, the hell did he make? Some sort of drink. I don't even remember what it was now, but yeah, he's done a few things with me over the past.
That's cool.
Me and Chris have talked about getting some comics on because then I might be able to start picking people's brains and maybe.
But having a comic on is so fun, right?
Right.
I mean, there's just something special that happens when you've got that kind of mind working in real time,
And there's actually a couple that fit the show, right? There's some that are just strictly metal comics, like Big J Okerson. Is that right? Is that his name? I think he used to do like the Metal Mayhem tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I got to look him up. And then there's another one too, right? Jim Brewer or Jim Brower. What's
Jim? Yeah, Jim Brewer. He's funny. I was interviewed by him one time years ago, and he was really funny. There's another really funny guy that I just got turned on to recently, just browsing through YouTube on comedy, and his name is Mark Norman.
I'll write that down.
Dude, he's hilarious.
Really?
Yeah, I'll text you a link.
All right, that'd be great because
You will really like this guy, and super, super funny. This guy's delivery is great. He's just awesome. So yeah, that's good. Congrats on getting on that other station or network or whatever it's called.
I'm always playing. I still have my regular job. I got 4.5 years of doing, and then I'll get my pension out of the police department. But this has always just been fun and see how far I can get it. And I like talking to people. So
yeah, for sure. Good to see you, man.
Hey, good seeing you as well. Good luck with everything.
Yeah, thanks. Also, lastly, we got I did a Euro. I'll do a shameless plug, but I did an official EU release of my solo record. And there are 2 different limited edition vinyls. One's like a blood splattery white and red vinyl, and one's an opaque red. And so that was with a Greek label.
Find it.
Yeah, there's a Greek label called Roar, Rock of Angels Records, and if you go to any of their, I think any of their socials, or I think it's rockofangelsrecords.de, I think it is.
I'll find it and I'll drop a link in the comments.
Yeah. So that's even though the record's been out a couple years, people still are talking about it to me. People, are wearing the album shirt at Queensryche shows, which is really cool. The new record's doing really well. People seem to really like the new Digital Noise Alliance record. So, I can't complain. It's all good.
Good for you, man. I mean, I remember 25 years ago, Crimson Glory and that sort of thing. So you've come a long way, right?
Come a long way. And I got to do my Nana's artichokes in your book.
Yes, that's right.
I think I called it The Art of the Joke.
You sure did.
Yeah, and I love the cover. It was the fork and the guitar case, and it was cool, man. I love that book. So, so I was very glad to be asked by you to be a part of that.
Well, thanks for always doing the crazy stuff. I'll get a bug up my ass and I'll go, let me text Todd, see if he's up for it. So
I'm game.
You usually are. So yeah.
Right awesome, on.
Man. All right, my friend.
Listen, have a great day, and we'll jump on a private call sometime.
Yeah, no worries at all.
Out of this, and I'll text you that link.
Yeah, do that. And if I ever get to doing it, I'll send you a video of me making a fool of myself up there.
Dude, you have to.
I will eventually.
Or you know what? On a call, you can run some of the jokes by me. And
see, even that makes me nervous. My blood pressure's jumping.
No, fuck that.
Anyway, be well.
All right, buddy.
Safe, my friend. Take care.
Thanks. See you, Bruce.
Bye.
Ciao.
Hello out there. Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.